Breaking travel news. Travel Talk with Phil Blizzard, talking to industry experts and decision makers.
Breaking travel news at the Arabian Hotel Investment Conference, and we're bringing in airports. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Dubai Airport. So what breaking news have you got for us to start off with?
Well, we're 3 days into our Northern Runway refurbishment programme, which started on the 1st of May. That's programmed to be in place till the 21st of July. We've effectively reduced our capacity by 32% during the period. That's given us obviously a great deal of stress because we're already the world's busiest airport, so we needed to close down one of the runways. That's a pretty difficult thing to achieve.
Stress for you, but for me, on a lighter note, relief, because I live on the flight path and I've noticed it is quieter.
Indeed,
aircraft are coming in on a slightly different flight path, closer to my house, but with the A380 being quiet, it doesn't really impact very much.
That's true, yes. And what we've seen at Dubai World Central, for example, we've added another 12 airlines to the operation there. So we've got 18 passenger airlines operating into Dubai World Central. So that airport's seen a big boost. But of course, we hope that this isn't going to affect our growth too much. We've just recorded our March figures, 5.8 million people through the airport. So we're well into the realms of being able to record the world's largest international airport title as being ours once we've got 12 months of continuous figures.
Sure. Yeah. So regarding Dubai World Central, what's been the feedback so far in just 3 days of the increased flight and passenger numbers going through that airport?
Well, first of all, the terminal's a small terminal, so the convenience and the ease of moving around, I think people are appreciating. It's a very compact footprint, so you don't have to walk very far. Obviously, the people who run our food and duty-free outlets are pleased because their turnover has sort of quadrupled in the last few days. And so far, the operational reliability seems to have gone pretty well. The redistribution of traffic, I think, went without drama. I was up in the control tower overseeing the closure of the southerly runway during the course of Thursday, and everything went very professionally. And I think it's a great example that our 13 months of planning has paid off, and all the teams are now working flat out to make sure that 80-day period is 80 days, not a second longer.
And it does in many ways coincide with a very busy period with the start of the summer holidays. In many ways, a big exodus of residents and nationals from Dubai going off on summer vacations.
That's true, but what we tried to do is choose a period where it didn't impact too much into the Western summer holidays, because as you can imagine, once you get to the middle of July and all of the schools all over Europe are closed for the summer, you suddenly get a massive exodus. So what we wanted to make sure is we were back up to full capacity well in time for that to happen.
Now, what I'm wondering, you're here at the Arabian Hotel Investment Conference. Could Dubai airports be going into the hospitality sector with their own hotels?
No, I'm really here to reassure everyone investing in hotels in Dubai or thinking about investing that the capacity path is well planned, and that we are bringing on more and more capacity, so that if people want to invest in hotel development here, then we're going to have the airport capacity to be able to facilitate the additional visitors that will need to be. 103.8 is our latest projection for 2020, which is going up every time we run a projection. And then, of course, we're now into the planning cycle for Phase 2 of Dubai World Central Al Maktoum International, which is going to have a design capacity in excess of 160 million people. So that pathway, that staircase of capacity is very much in place.
Staggering figures, and you mentioned Dubai World Central, but of course you have ongoing developments at Dubai International in the heart of Dubai. So give us a quick synopsis of what's happening there.
Well, we've got the roof onto Concourse D, which is on the southwestern side of the airfield. That is likely to have its construction completion set at about Q1 2015, and we expect to be open for passenger traffic through that facility sometime fairly early in 2015. So that's one of the developments. Some of the developments you can't see, for example, the data we're collecting to make sure that the A380 wake vortex is something that we can safely reduce, because at the moment there's a 5-mile separation between the super heavy aircraft that land there, but we're hoping to close that up completely safely if the data supports that notion, and that will allow us to increase the capacity on the runways.
So a serious technical aspect there, and by reducing that you bring the aircraft closer to each other, I suppose, which will create a better flow of the giant A380 through in terms of landing.
That's right, and also there are other sophisticated approach procedures that the air traffic control systems are seeking to adopt to again increase the runway throughput, to increase the movements on the runway. So with the A380, with enhanced movements, with more terminal capacity, we're pretty confident we can meet that growth projection of 103.8 by 2020.
And to finish off, the runway renovation, I suppose, in many ways, what would be the impact of that when it's completely finished?
When it's completely finished, what we're hoping is that our 24/7 nature of operations, which pound our runways very intensively, when you get 400 tons of aircraft touching down every 70 seconds, that they will be fit for at least the remainder of this particular decade without any significant remedial work. So there's 800,000 tons of aggregate, something like 10,000 runway lights, over 1,000 kilometres of cable going in. It's a huge military operation that's had a massive amount of planning.
And one doesn't realise the planning behind the scenes for, as you say, this huge military operation. Paul, thanks very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.